Welcome to Quord on the Street, random words with random guys. My name's Josh.
And I am Vince. So we have been friends for what? What time is it? Going on 20 something years?
Yeah, second grade, so we would have been what, 7, 8-ish?
Yeah, so call it 25 years.
Yeah, right around there.
And
Started out with you taking my Oreo.
let's not get into the Oreo right now. Huh? But we fell out of touch a little bit. We always kept up, but we were looking for something to keep in touch. What kept us in touch was Quordle. You want to explain what Quordle is?
Yeah, so I think the more popular version is Wordle, which is basically a random word generated every day, a 5-letter word, and you get to take 6 guesses to try to get that. So this became like pretty easy, I believe, for both of us, relatively fast. And then I happened to stumble upon Quirtle, and just kind of as a joke, I sent it to him like, "Hey, we should do this," and then we both did it, and now we do them both Wordle and Quirtle every day, and it's kind of like our connecting messages. Like some days we don't say anything else to each other than our scores for those two, but it kind of leads us into talking to each other, and it's created more opening dialogue between the two of us than we had in the past.
Which is nice.
Yeah, definitely is.
So, stemming from that, we decided, why don't we keep in touch, actually talk at least once a week. Put it on the schedule, make sure we do it. How do we do that? Record it. And what do we record? Well, we have this random list of words every week. Pick one. We'll talk about that. And that's the show, I think, so far.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea about it, is kind of just take the words from that week and pick one of them, kind of come up with a topic. I think it allows us to keep things fresh and talk about new, different things every week, and it also leaves it up to interpretation. So we're kind of both will pick a word and then choose a topic based off of that word. So it's off of that person's interpretation of how that word is used, not necessarily both of ours. So I think it'll create good dialogue back and forth on how we see things.
Yeah. So this is episode 1. Welcome if you somehow found us. Hope you stay around.
Yeah, it should be an interesting ride. First podcast for both of us, so dipping our toes in, but both avid podcast listeners, so it should be fun. Get to grow and learn new things and get better as time goes on, and just have fun talking back and forth with each other, and hopefully interacting and engaging with the audience as it grows.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully at some point we start to, cycle out of having these sort of presenter voices, which a little weird. All right, why don't we go ahead and start and see how this all goes?
Yeah. So for week 1 topic for me, I chose the word nerdy. And I kind of wanted to talk about a few different things when referring to that word, but one of the main things that struck me when I was looking at it was the difference in what it means to be nerdy now and what it means to be nerdy when we were growing up. Because I feel like it's changed a lot, because there's been a big shift in culture from when we were growing up in, middle school, high school, and us playing video games till 2 a.m, or, not necessarily going out and doing the whole party scene as much in high school as some of the other people that we went to school with. And I think there's been a pretty big shift in culture where like playing games and watching anime and different cartoon shows and collecting figures and different pop culture stuff has become much more acceptable than now compared to when we were growing up.
Yeah, that's for sure with Marvel freaking comic books being
Yeah.
basically the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if I think back, I mean, when I think the first Iron Man came out, what, probably,
It's
was
2006,
it
I think.
2006? So, I mean, we were already, we were in what, 10th grade probably at that point?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
2008.
we had gone through most of our high school years,
Yep.
or,
Well,
so,
it was our senior year. It came out 2008.
yeah. Okay, so it was 2008, not 2006.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so,
I was just shooting off the dome.
yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely way different. So, when we were growing up, like, nobody really knew about Marvel. I have to be honest, like I wasn't a huge comic book person growing up, so I didn't know that much about it. But like, I was more focused in on video games, um, specifically like Metal Gear Solid. I loved like the Ratchet and Clank series, playing through all those and like the different universes and stuff that these developers had created then in those. And I just think it's crazy now that like that's more mainstream, like people getting lost in video games and spending more time doing those
Twitch.
is just,
Twitch alone is
yeah,
a testament to how far it's come. It's crazy.
definitely is, and it's, I do marketing and design work for trade for my job, and I have a lot of older clients, so talking about like social media and stuff with them, and even talking to just the older generations in general, like trying to explain to them what Twitch is and why people would want to watch other people play games instead of playing them themselves. And I always tell them, like, well, why do you watch athletes play sports? Or, why do you subscribe to a magazine that you want to read every day or every month? It's the same thing as subscribing to your favorite streamer. You're paying for the content that you enjoy, but like they can't grasp how those are intertwined and how they're the same things, just a different medium in a new age.
Yeah. It's is that definitely makes sense when you're talking about like esports or even speed running where you just want to see somebody performing to their absolute limit of what the humans are capable of. But then there's a whole nother avenue into that where it's just backseat gaming. Watching someone experience something is second best to actually experiencing it yourself.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of, I don't think most of them understand the Twitch community, which I feel like is hard to really represent well to people and kind of embody what it is. But like being in a place where everybody is generally has for the most part the same interest, if you're watching the same streamer, like you form a community and like you have people to talk to about the same things, and like you get to know one another and interact with each other. It's just like their bridge club that they used to go to back in the day, or on Fridays going to the skaterama and hanging out with their friends. Like it's just the new way of doing things, and instead of being stuck to the people in your area, it's now global and strictly to do with like your interests.
I will say I do get the that barrier though, because yeah, if you find a small streamer and you're into it and you come up in that community, like it's great, you're in it. But for anybody just clicking onto the site, going to a popular streamer, my god, does that look chaotic.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I guess that's the thing. I have quite the bias, I guess, because I don't know when you started using Twitch, but I started back when it was still just on TV. So it was like, I think
Mhm.
2011, 2012 is when I created my account. So, I can remember, I'm sure you know who Tim the Tatman is, obviously.
Yeah.
Or, so when I first started watching Tim, funny enough, is from Syracuse. So, he only had like 150 viewers. So, granted, I didn't stay in his community because I fell out of my involvement in gaming and like Twitch at the time. But if I had stayed in his community from when I started and subscribing, like I could have been somebody that was well known in that community. Like when I started back then, people knew when I went in there who I was. Um, and like, so yes, it's definitely harder now to grow in bigger streams, but there's a ton of there's more smaller streams to grow in now than there ever was. So I definitely, the variety is nice.
Mhm.
It's just about finding what you like and who you connect with.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely. Honestly, the people that I like to watch are the speedrunners. I mean, it's just amazing what people can do when you're trying to find every little crack in the thing that you love. And
Yeah,
those are my first streamers that I watched. Clint Stevens, probably. I don't even know. That wasn't even that long ago. Yeah, that was
yeah.
that was a trip.
Well, so I guess to tie into that, I can't remember what his name is, but um, you probably know about the situation because it was, what's the big speedrunning competition thing that happens every year?
GDQ, games done quick.
Yeah, GDQ. Do you recall the guy that proposed to his
No,
girlfriend at? No.
no, I don't actually get to watch it live all that much. I watch the VODs afterwards.
So like years ago, um, this guy proposed to his girlfriend at GDQ. They had met through Twitch, I believe, and speedrunning, and became friends, and then eventually more. They proposed to her there, but like I had been a part of her community for a long time, so it was like seeing that was like, wow, that's crazy, and it made like the gaming spheres news all over the place because like that's just a crazy thing to have like get proposed to at a speedrunning competition and
Yeah,
for video games. It's just not like an everyday
and it's
day
a
thing.
it's a surprisingly huge event for what it
Yeah.
is.
Well, it brings a lot of old and new people together, I feel like.
Oh
So
yeah,
actually, our I have a friend. I don't know if I ever told you this. I believe I have. I know I told our other friend Vinny. But a kid that I went to college with named Justin, he is number 3 in the world for Donkey Kong high score,
really.
like on the arcade cabinet. Like he started out as MAME, and then he now has the actual arcade cabinet in his house, and he
That's
is number
hilarious.
3 in the world, and he lives in Sherburne, I believe, or somewhere over there, I guess.
I mean, what else are you gonna do out there?
Yeah, but like just this crazy world. Like to think like somebody that I went to college was like number 3 in the world for like a 1980s arcade game, and like he plays it hours a day trying to beat his scores.
Yeah, sure.
Just a nuts thing that you never think about. But like even that, like he's in his own community for that. Like he has a group of people that's all they talk about. Like they love Donkey Kong and like trying to beat the high scores and talking about all the little tricks that they can do to speed up their times, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, it is wild. It's a wild world we live in. We live in the friggin' future. I keep saying that to people.
right? I feel like it's really easy to get caught up in things and like not appreciate stuff. And like I have to like try to ground myself sometimes because like I get frustrated with things, and I'm like, my phone is connected to a friggin' satellite
Yeah.
in space, and then teleporting information back down to it. Like people used to have to take a letter by horse to people.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait 5 seconds for a website to respond.
Whereas
Like
the one that's been annoying me lately is I got a smartwatch for whatever reason. So I don't have to have my phone on me all the time if I want to read something.
yeah.
I can use GPay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just double tap the button and it comes up, and I just hold it to the terminal in the store. And that's been annoying me. Sometimes it's a little finicky. I'm like, ugh, this stupid
Oh,
God.
I have to take my wallet
I
out.
actually have to take something out of my pocket. My phone's right on my breast pocket.
Yeah.
I don't even have to reach down for it. But I still get annoyed at my
Yeah.
watch sometimes.
Yep.
But
It's definitely crazy compared to when we were growing up. I was just talking to my cousin because his stepdaughter, the father bought her a phone, and she's like 11, and I'm like, I didn't get a phone until I was 17, and it was a Nokia track phone that you had to buy minutes, and I had 15 minutes a month on it, and I could play Snake,
yeah,
and that was it.
to be fair, phones were pretty shit back then. So
Oh, they were. They definitely were. Oh, that brings another. I mean, this is kind of segueing a little bit, but think about this. I was thinking about it the other day. There's we were the last generation that has any idea what T9 texting is.
oh, I know.
Like,
I hear Linus Linus Tech Tips talk about it every so often. He'll bring it up, and his audience skews younger because it's like an entry point. So they'll be like, there's no way that T9 was as good as you're saying it was. And he's like, it kind of is.
it was like Morse code on
Well,
the phone. You're
predictive T9 was good. T9 where you had to press 4 3 times and 5 twice. That was
oh, but you have to like we were speed demons.
yeah.
And they have no idea. Like they're never gonna have the struggles of trying to get away with sending a message in class on that. You know what I mean? Like remember when in high school, you're like you can't just whip it out and like drag your finger and like write a word real fast, and you could like I could type a response on my iPhone
Hmm.
in like a second and a half, 2 seconds. Like on T9, it was not only did it take longer, but you were also like click 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 click
Yeah.
click 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 like you were getting heard.
Oh yeah.
There was no quiet T9 texting.
I was just thinking today, like my favorite phone that I've ever had is the NV3. Sideways flip. It had
Yep.
the physical keyboard. I'm like, could I go back to a physical keyboard? I've gotten so used to just swiping my words. I don't even know if I could go back to a physical keyboard. But I would
Yeah.
love to.
I feel like for the nostalgia's sake, I would love to, but I also feel like after I have it, I don't think I would like it.
Yeah, that's true.
I just like the smaller and more simplistic things are. I feel like the older I get, the more I enjoy them.
Yeah, just having a phone that's just a sort of flat screen.
Yeah, and it just works.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's just honestly, you have to like find the whole device that works for you when you have physical things. Like I could just move my keyboard around on my phone.
Yeah. Yep.
I have it smushed up to one side so I can just use one hand to swipe around in text.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I feel like you're pretty much, for the most part, there's three options right now for phones. You're gonna have an iPhone, you're gonna have a Galaxy, or you're gonna have a Google Pixel. Like those are kind of your
Yeah.
three. Whereas like back when we were growing up, like my first like real phone was an LG. I don't even know what it was called, the V90 maybe, something like that. But it was like the silver one with the blue
Yep.
border on it, with the little screen and the three buttons on the front.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like the king of phones.
I think that may be an American problem though. I see like people, tech reviewers, reviewing these phones, and I'm like, why can't we get that here? Like, I probably wouldn't want it, but it would maybe make other phones cheaper. Like Oppo. You can't buy Oppo phones here. They just don't work.
Yeah, I think one is probably an American problem. Two, they're not available, but I think probably the biggest is there's no brand recognition. So like
Mm,
we as a society buy solely off of like brand and how we feel about something.
yeah, yeah.
So like if they don't spend the money to into like it's harder than it has been for a company to come in, and especially on something as important as a cell phone, like people can't live without them now.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not nobody's gonna be like, you know what? I've had an iPhone for my whole life. Let me just try this Oppo phone real fast.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
it's just not gonna happen. Like they just so to break into that market is just tough.
Yep. You know what you can do on your phone though? We'll
Yeah. What?
transition into my topic. The word that I'm bringing today is place. I feel like this was not like entirely in the corner of the internet, but yeah, apparently it is because I don't think Josh knows what this is. So let me let me ask you this: Are you familiar with r/place on Reddit?
No.
Okay. Well, start off by telling you that every year, starting in I actually don't know when they started. The first one they did was called the Button. They do these social experiment type pages every April Fool's Day.
Okay.
And the Button, what it was pretty simple. There was just a button on a page and a timer. Click the button, and the timer starts at 60 seconds and just ticks down
Mm-hmm.
until someone else clicks the button. And that's all it was, just to see how
How
long
long they can keep it going for?
you could keep the button going for. And there were like badges on Reddit that you can get for clicking the button at certain times. So like if you clicked it with less than 10 seconds left, you would get a certain badge. So then people started to let it tick lower and lower to try to get the badges, but it just kept going. So let's see if I can find how long this went for. The experiment was created by Josh Wardle.
What?
Is this the same dude?
It very well could be. I think that's his name.
It's the same dude. Okay, that's weird. That's a weird little coincidence. Holy shit. Okay, so
Wow.
this man brought us together basically and gave us one of our first topics.
Wow. That was not expected.
I know. On June 5th, 2015, and it started April 1st.
Wow.
So
So
it went
a month and 4 days.
It went for 2 months.
Oh, June. Yeah. Oh, yeah. April, May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they kept this
Wow.
going for just over 2 months. So that was in 2015. I looked it up.
Yeah.
And then they've been doing it ever since. Every so often, they'll or every year they do it, but sometimes it like really catches on. And in 2017, they released Place, r/place. Basically, what it is, pretty simple, is they just put up a blank canvas of 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, and each person could place a pixel with a certain color, and then it would start a timer. Every 5 minutes, you could place a new pixel and with whatever color that you want. And everybody else on the site could also do that all at once. So let me show you the result. Just dropped it to you. You could go ahead and open that and sort of scan around it a little bit. It's pretty dense, but
Wow.
see a lot of people create some wicked art on there.
So, and each pixel is from a different person?
So this is, I noticed this one's blown up. This canvas is 4,000 by 4,000. So each 4 pixels in this particular image are 1 pixel. But yeah, I mean, each single one was placed by a person. And I mean, there were,
so it's huge collaboration.
Collaboration's huge. Like this big red box right in the middle. Did you ever hear of the tragedy of Dark Plagueis the Wise? That whole thing was created. No, that's what it says.
I'm zoomed in, so I was looking around, so I didn't even see that box.
Yeah. So that's what it is. There's a few factions that cropped up. You'll see over near the right, there's the green lattice. It's just black on green.
Yeah.
And down in the bottom corner, there's the blue corner. Literally just some people who just wanted to make something pure. Just blue right in the corner. So that was 2017. And now I'll go ahead and share something else with you. Go ahead and click that link, or probably want to click that link, make sure you have it on good quality, and go ahead and start playing that video. And I'll sort of talk while you watch it because it's like 3 minutes long. So this year,
I need audio for it?
Nah.
Okay.
So this year, Reddit announced Place is coming back. And started off just like it did. April Fool's Day starts, 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. And, obviously the thing on everybody's mind here right now is Ukraine. So it starts off with this big Ukraine flag stretching from side to side. And you'll see factions join. There's the blue corner still there. There's, the black void you'll see pop up every so often. And it just keeps going. And it's honestly pretty great. There's a twist, though.
Yeah.
They doubled the canvas size on day 2. Because, Reddit has a lot more people now than it did 5 years ago. So they doubled the canvas size. And it's wild what these people have made. The funny thing is, you can't see it in this video because it's too small, but Canada just struggled to create their maple leaf the whole time. People
Really?
creating these works of art. This Osu community somehow just like is the most resilient people on the planet. But
wow.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. You'll see every so often like a streamer will do a raid. XQC like dropped in and destroyed the blue corner and like a bunch of art around it at some point.
This video is so cool to watch.
Yeah, this is a time lapse of the 72 hours that it was up. And then they doubled this canvas size again. So now it's 4,000 by 4,000.
Jesus.
And you'll see just like crazy collaborations. There's like a fantasy book series collaboration that happens where you got, you know, Lord of the Rings, you got Stormlight Archive, you got Game of Thrones, you got all these communities that banded together to make this big piece of art. And then you just have like some chaotic forces. You'll see the Black Void in this new canvas just took up residence in the middle there and just created some heinous shit.
Yeah.
But and Black Void you'll see coursing through the canvas every so often. Um and God, so many Amoguses. So many Amongai.
Yep.
And
Wow.
so this is the final result for 2022. This again looks like an expanded uh canvas, 6,000 by 6,000. So they must have.
So let me get this straight. So this is when it finishes,
Yeah,
like when the thing. So like
yeah, because
when the clock struck the end, this is what was left.
when the clock struck the end, this is what was there. And then what they
Yeah.
do is there's a little wind down period. People can still contribute. People will still have the 5-minute timer, but the only color you can place is white.
Ooh.
So you see it sort of fade away afterwards. It's very Buddhist, is a stupid way to put it, because they make this sand art and then at the end of it they brush it all up, put it into the river, and it's gone. You just have to appreciate it while it's there.
Reminds me of the sand sculptures at the state fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot like a sand sculpture.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I had no idea this was a thing. This is dope.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you'll see, like, if you zoom into the little mango right at the bottom, you can see just so many Among Us's. And you'll see some, funny shit here and there. Schools that band together to spell porn. And,
yeah.
like,
there's just so much going on.
There's so much going on. You can just sort of scroll around and keep finding new things. Here's a pay money wubby. You obviously got Wall Street bets with their diamond hands here.
You see, the only thing I really do the only thing I follow on Reddit at all is the competitive Call of Duty
yeah
subreddit, and that's about it. So I had no idea this existed, but this is super cool.
It's funny because Reddit has gotten, a bad rap, not undeservedly, for certain communities. But if you find your particular community and curate your feed, like, you see things that you want to see. And honestly, this is a testament to that, because this is each one of those communities banding together, claiming this spot on the map, building something beautiful, and then defending it to their last breath. Even people who, people say aren't doing something creative, just the blue corner down there, they're back.
Yeah.
But even they are like, I was on a Discord and with the blue corner, and it was just, people were just trying to take this thing away from them, and they fought tooth and nail to keep that one blue corner.
It blows my mind that there's a Colorado Avalanche logo.
You'll see ridiculous stuff. If you go down to the blue corner and scroll up, you'll see this big piece of art. He laughed. And under it, you'll see that fantasy literature collage that I was talking about. And like, even that, you'll see it runs into One Piece there. Even that, like, I was on a Discord server with them too. And they had to like negotiate a piece with the One Piece subreddit, so that, because One Piece is bigger than all of these other communities combined. So they had to like negotiate a piece and redesign the whole thing in order to put it there and not have it just destroyed. So it's really an interesting social experiment. I mean, it's exactly what Reddit does every April Fool's Day, is these very interesting social experiments. And unless they're really well hidden, not a single swastika in sight.
That's surprising.
I know. But
Very surprising. Yeah, I haven't seen any, and I've been scrolling through it pretty much since you sent me the link to it.
yeah, I mean, this is a trip to watch. I was watching it like on and off over the weekend, and like I was there for the second expansion. I was like on. I was, because you kind of want to participate in this, right? So I just happened to accumulate like 4 alt accounts over the years of just doing
Redditing.
Redditing. You know, I wanted a new feed, so I made a new account. But then, I was kind of helping with trying to help with the blue corner. I mean, even one person with 4 accounts isn't enough to really do much. But like, it was so interesting. I was on like trying to do that when all of a sudden they're like, the canvas expanded, go claim the new corner. And they built that new corner pretty much the size and place where you see it in, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Wow.
And they held on to it the whole time, fighting off the Among Uses and everything.
That's just dedication.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see, like that. I would love this, like, which granted it's not the right size, but like this would be so cool to get as a poster.
Yeah. Yeah. People have printed like posters of it. I know one dude on Reddit was like, his kid walked in, was like, wow, that's really cool. And he just happened to have one of those massive poster printers. So he printed it out for him, took a picture of it, he put it up on his son's wall right away.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have to really scour it to make sure there's nothing too heinous before I would hang it up, but it
Yeah,
definitely
well,
is really cool artwork.
hopefully he doesn't notice the, really wild stuff for, I don't know, a
Yeah.
year or two.
Definitely.
But yeah, this is what I brought. This is what I've been doing all weekend. Just hanging out in here, watching this come and go, get destroyed and get rebuilt. And
Yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea it existed or anything like that. It's such a cool collaboration. You know what it kind of reminds me of, in a sense, too, is kind of touching back to what we were talking about earlier, is the Let's Play Pokemon Twitch channel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was called. Or Twitch Plays Pokemon.
Twitch Plays
I forget
Pokemon.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, like where chat controlled the inputs to beat the Pokemon games and like go through.
Yeah.
Like it kind of gives me that vibe.
Yeah, that was another thing that really took me. Something about these here and gone like events where people just come together. There's factions that plan and factions that destroy. Something about this type of thing really captures my interest.
I mean, I understand why.
Yeah.
I just like it just for. I think it strikes me more just from the art aspect of it. Being that I like art so much. It's like just seeing all the different things people can do in such a small space.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Watch that video back a few times and like try to look at different like areas of the map every so often, because some people do like really interesting things. I don't know what it is. It must be this block. r/Shibby says. I don't know what that community is, but they have a spiral in their design. And if you find it and watch that spot in the time lapse, they're constantly changing the color of the spiral from in to out. like constantly changing it. It was like it had to be like an activity that they were doing just for the time lapse.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely crazy watching it. And for people that are just listening, you can find this probably by just searching Reddit r/place
Yeah,
um, for time lapse, and we should be able to have it linked in the YouTube description.
YouTube description. Hopefully, we can have some sort of show notes where we link it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I will have been a massive idiot for bringing a visual topic to an audio format.
I mean, I think just having them, you explaining it, like what is cool, like in the different ways of talking about it. I would have no idea that this even existed if you hadn't brought it up. So I think there's probably, like, I'm by no means somebody that shies away from the internet. So I'm
Yeah,
sure there's a ton of people that would have no idea that this exists.
yeah. I mean, it's cool. I was vaguely aware of it in 2017, but this time around, like, I don't know. If you curate your feed, like Reddit can be a very interesting place because it's a little more anonymous. I really just lurk, but I've been like so into it, and I'm so into these niche communities for Stormlight Archive and all this stuff that you know it's enough people that can band together to actually make something. So it was really
Yeah.
something that I was paying attention to this time around.
I feel like that's what makes a good social media platform, though. And I think it just depends. So for me, I feel like how you use Reddit is how I use Twitter.
Hmm.
So like my feed on Twitter is very much so curated to like the Call of Duty scene, esports, streaming stuff.
Yeah.
So like I spend most of my time on there, and it sounds like that's the same thing. The only thing obviously is Reddit has much more long form capability than Twitter. Like you
Yeah.
could put something that's much longer on there,
Yeah, that's sure.
but huh,
But yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten the hang of Twitter. It feels like I make a Twitter and then immediately destroy my feed with a bunch of garbage. It's like I've just never gotten the
well,
hang of it. So
I feel like Twitter is like it's different than like all the other social media platforms where like you only on Twitter you only follow things you really like. It's not like, hey, I have an LG monitor, let me follow LG. It's like, no, you follow like the people in the community that you want to be part of. Even if it's like just every person that's a part of the community that you find that you want to be you just follow them. And then you just end up being engulfed in
yeah, yeah,
that world.
that makes sense. I just I don't know. I feel like I just need to have an alt account for entering stupid giveaways and shit like that. Because that's what I end
Yeah.
up doing. Is I'm too lazy to log out and log into my you know destroyed account
Yeah.
to do that, and then my feed just gets destroyed by Corsair ads.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that mine's pretty much just contained to what I want.
Yeah, I really gotta try. I actually do have a pretty clean account that if this takes off and people want to make me start using, I would get into it, but I don't know.
Well, and I feel like are you talking about the one we have for Quord on the street, or are you
I
having
mean,
another personal one?
both, whatever.
Oh,
Hopefully I can manage the one for this too, but hey, if people want to find me on my personal, I'll plug it.
yeah,
I'll plug it too.
yeah, but yeah, definitely. I mean, that's want to interact with an individual from the show, that's normal. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah, you'll be able to find us on Twitter at Quord on the Street. I believe it's abbreviation for street on that
Right.
one to make it fit.
And in case you didn't look at the name of the podcast, it's Quord, Quord.
Yeah, that was probably a good thing to point out.
It's definitely a slurable word.
Yeah,
And yeah, we're on a lot of the socials. Hopefully, we'll get into Instagram. Again, that's Quord on the Street. I believe we have it spelled out there.
yeah, yep.
And
YouTube as well.
YouTube, Quord on the Street. And yeah, go and find us there if you're good at finding new podcasts. I don't know how you would, but we'd appreciate you. Yeah, if you liked us, going and finding us there.
Yeah,
I don't
give
know.
us a follow, drop a comment, let us know. I mean, if there's any ideas or suggestions you have, we'll definitely take everything into an account.
Yeah,
Always willing to grow.
this was maybe a little longer than we're planning to go because we had to do the introductions at the beginning. We haven't really gotten a clean introduction worked out,
Yep, yep.
but yeah, I mean, we'd be willing to, take your words, your take on whatever words. Maybe we'll like post what the words from the previous week were. Right now, we're keeping track of them Sunday to Saturday, so maybe Saturday
Yeah,
we'll drop that post into the
into the
socials.
socials. Yeah, that would be cool. That that could be a really fun like the final episode of the month. We do
Yeah,
like community driven words, or
yeah,
like they pick the words and we have to come up with topics for them.
yeah. That would be cool.
I think that's probably honestly my favorite part about this whole thing is like, granted, like I picked a pretty easy one for the first episode, but
Hmm.
trying to conform the words that are used into a topic that we could talk about or is relevant, like that's really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Going forward, it's going to be interesting because, like, I've been keeping track of the words for a couple of weeks, so I cheated a little bit. Place wasn't from last week; it's from a little while before. But that one just sort of fell into my lap too. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out
once,
when we only got the 28 words to choose from.
when we're locked into that week,
Yep.
yeah, it'll definitely make us think outside the box more.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Well, I think we're probably getting to the point where we're gonna close her off. We're approaching that 50-minute mark, like he said. That's a little bit longer than we'll probably run, just because we were getting the introduction in. Wanted to give everybody a brief rundown of who we are, why we're starting this, what it's about, what you can expect, and then I'm sure we rambled a little bit more than we will once we get into the groove of things. But
yeah, expect some growing pains if you're a very early adopter into listening to two yahoos squawk on about the internet.
random things. Two random guys talking about random stuff.
Yep. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll just give a clean read here at the end of the socials, and then we'll be off. Uh, we'll let you hear the growing pains in real time. Why don't we ping pong these? All right, we got YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and then we'll maybe our personals, and then we'll sign off.
yeah. So for Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at Quord on the Street, QUORDONTHE. THEST.
And on Instagram, we are Quord on the street, same, but with an extra EET at the end.
And on YouTube, it's the same as Instagram, spelled out the same way. You can find us on there if you're more interested in listening on that. To start off, it'll probably just be audio, but down the road, we're not opposed to adding some visual elements, especially if we continue to want to share stuff. I actually kind of like that idea. And the way that we're recording, it would be pretty easy to be able to share things and have them come up.
Yeah, yeah, it would.
So we'll see how that plays into everything.
Yeah. And for our personals, I'll just give Twitter. The Twitter that I want to grow. Okay? I want people to force me to use Twitter. It's at V_C. Spell out the underscore.
For me, for Twitter, it's at Scuzzy, SKUZZEY. That's my my main gaming handle. So that's gonna be your best place to find me. And I guess to end it off, we'll just leave you with our nice little sign off, and just ask you if you liked what you heard. Give us a follow. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're finding us there, or if you want to listen to there in the future. Follow us on all the social medias so you can keep up with anything, and help us get the Quord out.
Get the Quord out.